What's up guys, welcome back. So today's video is my first Halloween tutorial of 2019. Hopefully I'll be getting up some more for you guys. They are very last minute, so these are basically just makeup looks. So I feel like they're really easy for you guys to recreate because you don't necessarily need any props. Obviously I've used a wig in this tutorial. If you have one at home, awesome. If you don't, it's so not necessary. This look is kind of just inspired by the Queen of Hearts. I just kind of wanted to make it a little bit softer and a little bit more fairy tale and princessy. So I kind of just put my own twist on it. Hopefully you guys like it and it's easy for you guys to recreate. And if not, hopefully you just enjoy watching it. But basically I'm just jumping in with my Fenty Hydrating Primer to prep my skin and keep it nice and moisturized. And then I'm jumping in with the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter just to add a little bit of luminosity to the high points of my face before I jump in with foundation. The foundation that I'm using today is the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea Water Foundation. I am obsessed with this again. I feel like I've rekindled my love for it. I used to use it years ago and it was one of my favorites and I just kind of forgot about it until I pulled it out of my drawers the other day. Oh my god, I love it so much. I'll leave the color listed down below for you guys. All the products will be in the description as always, but I love applying this with a brush just so I can keep it nice and thin and lightweight, but control the coverage where I need it. And then typically I go in with a sponge just to like smooth out any lines or anything. It's such a beautiful foundation and it's perfect for dull like fairy tale skin. For concealer, I'm just trying out this Revolution concealer. I'd never used it before, so this was kind of my first time testing it out. Yeah, no problems really. It seemed fine. It's a concealer. And you guys know me, I like to put my concealer underneath my eyes and then let it sit for a little bit and move on to something else. So I'm going in with the Too Faced Lip Injection Extreme Gloss. And I've really been liking lately just popping this on my lips while I'm doing my makeup. It doesn't really plump them. I find it just, well, it kind of plumps them, but I find it just kind of makes them look a little bit more hydrated, especially if you have really dry, crusty lips like I do. So I just really like it for smoothing out any fine lines or anything like that and just making them look a little bit more youthful. Then I'm jumping in, letting both of those just sit on my face, and I'm going in and doing my brows. So I'm using my Benefit Give Me Brow first. Give Me Brow? Gimme Brow. Just kind of mapping out and doing a little bit of a shadow. Then jumping in with my Precisely My Brow Pencil in the shade number 3 and just kind of filling them in really messily. Doesn't have to be perfect. We kind of just need it down as a map for when we go in with the red brow situation later on. And then I just used my 24-hour brow set just to get all my little hairs standing up. You guys know my usual routine, nothing too crazy. And then I'm just jumping back in and blending out that concealer. I like to leave it sitting there for a little bit so it dries and it stays a little bit more full coverage. We're then going to set the face. I'm taking 2 powders from Benefit. I'll leave the shades listed down below because I'm not sure of them off the top of my head, but I'm using the lighter one. These are actually powder foundations, so they will add a little bit of extra coverage to your look, but using the lighter one to set underneath my eyes, centers of my face and my eyelids, and then I'm taking the darker shade to kind of use as a step before going in with contour or bronzer. So it just kind of adds dimension to your face with powder foundation rather than going in with a ton of bronzer. So now that my face is nice and set down, I'm going to jump in with one of my favorite bronzers. This is the Hoola bronzer from Benefit. Honestly, I love this. It's just a great all-rounder. If you're looking for a bronzer slash contour and you're not sure what to get, this is a really great one. It just doesn't deposit too much color and it's just, I don't know, it's just perfect. So I'm just kind of bronzing, contouring with that, not doing too much. And then I'm going to jump in with blush. With blush, we are going to do too much. We're going in. I don't know if this palette is still available. This was a Nars palette. I'm taking the most coral blush that I own. So just use whatever you guys have on hand, but I'm going pretty ham with this. We really want this look to be very rosy and flushed and just really pretty and pink, so don't be afraid of the blush. I'm also taking the highlight shade from that palette. It's just a really pretty pink toned highlight. I think a dupe for this would be, well, not really a dupe because it's not cheaper, but something similar would be like the Benefit Skin Twinkle or something along those lines, just something peachy and pink kind of toned. But honestly, use whatever you guys have. And then I'm going to jump in and start doing my eyes. I'm using two Huda Beauty palettes. Obviously just use any kind of pinks that you guys have. These were just the two palettes that caught my attention, and I thought they had pink shades that I'd like to use. So first, jumping in with this peachy pink toned shade from the Ruby Obsessions palette, I'm just going to really build this up in the crease as much as I can. I really want this look to be quite intense while still being really soft, so I'm kind of mixing pastels with more vibrant pinks to try and get that intensity but still keep that softness. I'm then going to jump in with this more vibrant sort of corally shade from the Neon Obsessions palette, and I'm focusing this on the outer corner and just a tiny bit into the crease, and then I'm going to take a fluffier brush and start blending the two together and just really diffuse them. Because we already have that crease shade laid down, we can really go ham with the outer corner shades because they'll just blend so beautifully in with it. Then jumping back in with the Ruby Obsessions palette, I'm taking this ruby muted kind of red, and I'm going to start packing that on the outer corner, basically just kind of doing the same thing for every step, packing on the outer corner, blending with a fluffy brush, and then continuing to do these just to build it up and, you know, really get the intensity. Basically just how you guys would do a cut crease. You know how it be. I did also take the deeper maroon sort of shade from the Ruby Obsessions palette, and I did the same thing, packing it on the outer corner and then just blending and diffusing everything together. But yeah, I forgot to do a clip pointing to the shade, but if you guys look up the palette or you go back to the clips where I showed it, you'll be able to see which shade I used really easy. And then just whatever's left over on my brush, I'm just sweeping along the lower lash line. For the cut crease, I'm just taking that same concealer and just gonna pop it on my eyes. I then like to do a little look up, and you guys can see where it's kind of transferred. That's how I know how far to take up my cut crease so it doesn't transfer if I do it too low, if that makes sense. So I'm just blending that out on the eyelids with a just a concealer type brush, and then just to blend the edges with the outer corner, I'm just going to tap my finger over the edges, and then whatever's left over on my brush, I just lightly blend it in and you're one and done. To set that concealer, I'm just taking the Benefit powder foundation and just using that lightly just so it's not tacky and sticky, because I didn't actually want to add any shimmer to the eyes, I just want to keep it matte. For the inner corners, I'm taking this pink champagne-y sort of shimmer from the Ruby Obsessions palette, and I'm just popping that right on the inner corners. I really like how this kind of diffuses into like the matte lid. I just think it looks really pretty and luminous, and I love it. I'm also going to add a little bit of winged liner. I wanted to do a black winged liner, but I just didn't feel like it went with the look, so I chose to go with these two Fenty pink liners and do a little bit of an ombre moment. I'm not sure if these were limited edition or not. If I can find them, I'll link them in the description box, but basically it was just a darker pink and then more of like a peachy pink. I did the darker pink on the outer corner and then the peachy pink kind of from like the inner corner to the middle, and then I just sort of blended them together and it looked really pretty. So for the freckles, what I'm going to do is just take a mix of all of those eyeshadow shades that we used and we're just going to create little diffused circles of pigment on the face. So I started out with the darker shades and then worked my way up to like the more vibrant ones, and then I went back to the darker ones after I'd blended it just to add a little bit more depth. So just take your time with it and just build it up. They don't have to be perfect, but just keep the edges nice and diffused, and it's basically just a base before we go in with the concealer and start creating the little hearts. I used a couple of different brushes to do the hearts. I found the best one was this little flat, it's kind of like a lip brush, I think. Just find the flattest, smallest concealer brush you can, or if you have like an eyeliner brush. I personally couldn't find a really fine tipped eyeliner brush. I don't know what I've done with them. They probably would have been easier, but this is just what I had and it worked out fine. So I just took my time creating the little hearts. Again, these don't have to be absolutely perfect. Just try and get them as neat as you can. But I do go in with a little bit more eyeshadow and just a flat like eyeliner type of brush and go around the hearts to define them and neaten them up a little bit. As you guys can see here, it just makes them look a little bit more defined and just a little bit extra dimensional on the skin. So yeah, they're actually really easy to do. I was very surprised that I was able to do this, and I really hope that you guys are able to recreate them as well, because they're so not hard, guys. Just take a little bit of time and you'll get there. Once I finished doing my little heart freckles, I decided to whiten out my lips because I want to do like a typical Queen of Hearts lip kind of thing. So I just took that concealer and the powder and I just whited them out as much as I could. And then I'm going in with this MAC lip liner and this Fenty lip paint. I can't remember the color names because I'm just like the worst, but everything will be in the description box for you guys. First, I'm taking the red lip liner and just doing an outline just to get the general shape of the style that I want. And then I take the Fenty lip paint and I just fill everything in. And I keep doing this and going back in with each of those just to kind of create like an ombre sort of look. So the lip liner on the outer edges and then the Fenty lip paint in the middle, and it just looks really pretty. Such a pretty lip paint. And I also decided to take that red lip liner as well and just add it into the brows. I wasn't sure if I was going to do a red brow, but I feel like this just tied it in so much. And then I just took a little bit of those eyeshadows that I used earlier as well and just kind of added it on top, and I feel like it just matches the wig so much better. So obviously optional if you guys aren't using a pink wig or if you don't want to do pink brows, but yeah, I feel like it just adds something. So that is pretty much everything for this look. All that's left is to add this weird condom to my head and put the wig on. My wig came with a wig cap, so I already have short hair because I have had a little hair transformation since. But yeah, I just decided to put it on just so none of my little hairs came out underneath the wig and just so it held everything down. And I literally just sat the wig on there. It's not the best wig, honestly. It was a real cheapie. But I feel like when I just add a little headband on there, it's not too bad, gets the job done, it stays on, and I feel like it's such a look. So anyway, I really hope that you guys like this video. I love how it turned out. I just think it's so pretty and soft and princessy. If you guys liked it, thumbs it up, subscribe if you haven't already, check out my Instagram, it's just Kasey Rayton, and I will catch you guys in my next video.